Nicole's asking, it seems very hard for a solo artist like myself to get gigs right now as the band scene is massive. Do you have any advice?
So the thing with the solo artist versus band is there are pros and cons. I mean, there is always going to be that really great band scene, and part of that is because when you've got 3, 4, 5 people in a band, it is easier to bring down an audience a lot of the time because you have got your friends, or 3, 4, 5 people's friends as well as the band itself. So from getting bums on seats to get people in the door, that on a sort of local level, that is a bit easier. But while that's the case, if you look at the other side to it, it is much easier, I would say, to promote a solo artist digitally and online, because you're not having to wait to get together. You're not having to wait to have this committee of who's doing what and when. And you can literally, if you are the solo artist, you can say, oh, I need to do a picture for Facebook. Facebook gone. You can't do that with a band. So it is pros and cons, and I would say if you want to get out and do more gigs, then one thing I would do is I'd be looking at how you can actually put the gigs on yourself. So I think you should learn to take more control of promotion. So for example, go and actually find a small venue. There's quite a lot, we live in Brighton, there's loads around here where you can hire them out for a bit of money. So it'll cost a little bit of money, but you'll make that back by bringing in other artists alongside what the music you're into, or even other bands, and actually promoting yourself, and actually saying, look, I'll put the gig on, but then I'm actually want to get my money back plus a little bit extra should you want to, and that way you're taking control of the situation. And that's probably what I would do. But also there's other areas, you can still do open mics much easier as a solo artist than you can as a band. So I think there's this pros and cons. And if you want to turn up to a sweaty, grimy gig venue as a solo artist, it doesn't feel quite the same really, because of the whole backing tracks or whether you have got a live band. So I would say it is a bit different, but you can put your own gigs on. You can still make that happen. It's just you're going to have to take more control. All of this stuff is you saying, well, do you know what? That's what I want to do. So I've got to find a way around it. I've got to be a problem solver. And if you're finding that promoters won't take a chance on you, then you might have to say, I'm just going to have to be the promoter myself and actually go down that route. But I think, what you lose in the aspect that we're talking about with going out with live bands, I think you really, really gain on an online footing with the speed that you can work at. Because when I talk to bands, one of the big things that lets them down is speed, because they've got to get everyone together, and Dave works, so we can't actually get together on Wednesday, so we tend to rehearse once a week. And I'm like, fucking hell, guys, I mean, you want to compete on a national, international level. If you want to compete with these big bands, you can't just go and rehearse once a week. It's just not enough, because if you rehearse once a week, you're going to rehearse 50 times in a year, because you're not going to rehearse over Christmas. 50 times in an entire 12 months period. Is that enough? No fucking way is that enough. No way. Anyone who's rehearsing once a week and is going, we want to be the next Muse, well, I got news for you. That's going to be very, very difficult. So in which case, as a solo artist, you can rehearse 7 times a day. Like, do whatever you want because you're in control. So it's that speed that is so powerful, because decision making when you're the artist is just what you want to do. So you can literally make decisions, and that's the difference between small businesses and big businesses, is there's no committee. Someone just says, that's what I'm going to do, that's how I'm going to do it. The album cover, that's what I want. Everything doesn't have to go, what do you say? How do you feel about this? Oh, I didn't like this bit. Maybe we'll try again. It's just someone saying, that is what I want. Off we go. So the speed that you can work as a solo artist is really, really great. But it just means you get a few downsides, which is trying to actually get live gigs with bands can be a bit harder. But you can push yourself really, really hard on digitally. Very, very easy, and that's what I would do. And if you're in control, another thing to think about if you're looking at doing gigs is I'd look at building up a YouTube following and actually using YouTube Live and Facebook Live to do these gigs in nice places. So it doesn't have to be in your bedroom. You can go somewhere and set it all up and do your own gig. But we've got to get away, and I'm going to be saying this a lot over the next few years. We've got to get away from these rules, because it's not that we need to break the rules, it's the fact that there are no rules. This idea that a gig has to be in a sweaty venue is no longer the case. a gig now can be to 10 Australian people while you're in Manchester. There is so many variations on things that the rules have gone. You get to make up the rules, and there isn't really these right or wrong answers. There's wrong answers because it doesn't work, and then you just go, that didn't work, we'll try the next thing. But I think as a solo artist, what I'd be looking at is building a following and just saying, my gig is going to be through the camera. And there's lots of people going, fucking, what are you talking about, gigs through a camera? But why not? You could definitely get 1,000 people. I mean, a good band could do a Facebook Live to 50, 60, 70,000 people. It's Wembley. Like 80,000 people, that's Wembley Stadium. Okay, they're not in one place at one time, but you can do that. So I think the pros and cons, I think if I was an artist, I'd be looking at thinking of different ways to do gigs, and I definitely would be looking at building up my own show digitally online and having what we do. I do the Wednesday night, every Wednesday, 7 till 7:30. I do Facebook Live. That's just a performance. You ask me questions, I'll answer them. I would do exactly the same thing, but I'd have my piano or my guitar in my hand and do the same stuff.
Okay. Cool. So we've got a band asking a question now. This is from Tidal Wave. It says, one of our songs has been used extensively on others' YouTube vids, but would turning on monetization bring revenue?
So this is a great question because we're starting to delve into monetization on YouTube, which is something that we haven't actually talked about before. And I don't monetize any of my videos. And there's 250 odd videos that I've got on my YouTube. You should subscribe. And there is a reason for that, is because I really want to bring as much value as possible to you guys. And I don't feel like the money that I will bring in is worth the value that I'll be taking away from you by having the advert, if that makes sense. So I know we're surrounded by adverts, but when people are going, oh, fucking adverts, I hate that. I like the fact that when someone clicks my video, it should go straight into it, and I should pop up, and I should be there straight away. So, and I think for me, the money that I'll get isn't worth losing that extra bit of niceness, for example. But you better believe if I was turning over 1 million views on a video every day, then I probably would turn on monetization. But what I would do is I would be smart about it. I would probably not monetize every single video I've got. That would be my bit of advice. I would monetize bits of it. So, and do you know what drives me crazy? And I know this is a thing, but when you get YouTubers that are obviously trying to get money and they've actually split their video up into 7 different pieces and they've got like 7 different adverts through the video, and I'm watching a video and then these adverts are popping up and I'm like, all right, it drives me crazy. So, but at the same point, it probably brings in a lot of money. So you have to weigh it up. But my advice on this would be, when you turn on monetization on YouTube, you are going to lose a little bit of the value to the end user. So you have to weigh up what you feel. And when I see bands who've turned on monetization and they're getting 100 views on a video or 200 views on a video, it's not worth it, because by the end, it's going to be like when you put a single on Spotify, and I chat to people and they go, yeah, but every little bit counts, and I've just had a royalty check for $3, and I'm like, yeah, I suppose, but like in that case, you're not doing it for the money, because you're not going to live off that. And I think the same thing with YouTube. If you're going to monetize this and you're going to say, man, we could be making 500 quid a month. This could make a huge difference to the quality that we are creating. If you're going to bring in $500 a month and you're going to put that $500 a month into more gear, more equipment, more people, and you're going to build it up, therefore you are bringing more value to the end user, then I think that's a good thing to do. If you're just going, well, we might as well because we'll make a bit of extra money, and you're going to piss off the user and then you're going to get an extra 20 quid every month, I probably wouldn't do it. So I think it's this question for me is about when, not if, because I think there's lots of guys who have millions and millions of views a day that don't monetize it because they don't need to, and there's plenty of smaller YouTubers and bands that have it switched on that I feel like they shouldn't have it switched on. So for me, it's like, yes, you should turn on your monetization on YouTube at the right time. I probably wouldn't monetize every single video. I'd probably monetize the videos which have longevity, which are going to actually create some money. So for example, we talk quite a lot on YouTube about playlists, and you might find that certain videos that you do really run, and some videos that you do don't. So you might find that that you're making vlogs and blogs and they're okay, but then people are watching them here and there, and then you'll do a cover and all of a sudden you'll get 100,000 views, and then you'll do more little vlogs and then you'll do an original song and you get 100,000 views. That one, monetize that one. Don't monetize all of them. Just say, we know that one's going to be a biggie, so that's the one I want to do. And if all of a sudden it starts to go very, very fast and you're thinking, Jesus, I wasn't expecting this, but this video is already up to 5,000 views and it's only been a week in, then you can always go back and monetize it, I'm pretty sure. So for me, this monetizing thing is all about when, so that it doesn't piss off the end user, and then what you're gonna do to ensure that if you have sort of just lost a little bit of credibility with the end user, just a little bit, not loads, but just a tiny bit, what you're going to do to compensate that.